Hey everyone, Eric here from Nomadic Fanatic. I hope you guys are doing well out there. Today we're going to be talking about this awesome device right here and why you may want to get one, and I'm going to show you the easiest, most simplest way to take care of one of these portable hot tubs coming right up. Yes, hi everyone. I'm going to be uploading this video with some Nomad internet. There's a link below in the video description if you need some mobile unlimited internet for the road or whatever. So, yeah, today we're talking about my Intex portable hot tub that I love so much. I'm going to share with you today how I maintain this guy exactly, because in my experience it looks like all the other people who own these are for some reason making it some kind of a secret thing where they even lie about the chemicals and how they actually keep the water clean. So look, there's no other video like this on YouTube. I can promise you, today I'm going to show you step by step exactly what I do to keep this water clean. I'm going to show you the exact chemicals and procedure and timeline for how I keep crystal clear hot water 104 degrees in this portable hot tub by Intex. Some more information will be at the end of the video if you are looking for one of these neat things, but this is an Intex model here. They also come from Coleman, Saluspa, but the Intex brand is definitely my favorite. I've owned a couple of these now. As you can see, it's an inflatable hot tub that has a cover that has locking caps. Yes, all 6 of these are locking so that children cannot get in when you're not around. And the heater system over here is right here. It is 104 degrees right now, which is the max hot temperature. We'll get into all the settings of that later, but it plugs into a standard 110 volt outlet. You do not need to wire a 220 outlet. It's just a regular outlet. Now for that reason, it does take a little bit of extra time to heat this up initially. Like, I filled it up with water. The water was 44 degrees from the spigot here at base camp. It took a full 48 hours to get above 100 degrees. So it does take some time to get there, but you can't beat it because you don't have to have an electrician come out and wire you a 220 volt. Just plugs into any standard grounded outlet. And as I mentioned at the beginning of this video, for some reason there's a ton of misinformation out there. For some reason, people are not being honest about these things. Like, they don't tell you how they really keep the water crystal clear and maintain things. So, we're going to go through the exact chemicals that I use and how often I use them, and I'm going to share this with you. First, let me take the cover off. Since I'm here at base camp by myself, I don't lock these individually. I just keep them unlocked all the time, so it's just a one-handed job now to open it up. All right, and then we'll remove the top cover, which again has an inflatable inside here to help keep the temperature of the hot tub. Now, as you look in here, you will see that that water is pretty darn clean. It has been in here for nearly 3 weeks now. 3 weeks of the same water, and the longest I've ever done is 2 months with the same exact water. I've got my little floaty in here. Okay, and this floaty takes tablets. I'm using bromine tablets, but you could also use chlorine if you choose. There are 2 filters. You'll see the one on the bottom there. That's a light on top. It's actually a waterproof LED light that looks really cool at night. And there is the second filter there. More on those in just a second. The control panel over here allows you to set your desired temperature. Oh, that's not the right button. That's the right button for temperature, okay? Turn that back on, turn the heat back on, and if you want the bubbles, the steam is rising a lot more now also. Now, hang on. Before we get too far into the maintenance of the hot tub itself, let's talk about one point, because this does surprise people a lot. If you're used to a conventional hot tub, like a hard-sided hot tub that's 220 volts, you have jets. And those are jetting out hot water into your back and massaging you, whereas these are simply pushing out exterior air in a bubble form because there's a strip along the bottom. And again, it's going to be whatever temperature it is outside because the pump back there is gathering the ambient air out here. So if it's 40 degrees at night and you're in there and your back's really close to it, those bubbles can feel a little cold. So there are some drawbacks to these inflatable hot tubs, but I mean, if it's 50, 60 degrees outside, those bubbles feel so good on my lower back. I even stretch my feet out and get a little foot massage from the other ends and stuff like that. So more on the hot tub specifics here in just a second. Let's talk about exactly how I care for my hot tub. I'm going to show you what's on this table. These are the only products I use. I promise you. S1 filters. They do not need to be Intex, but do not just go online and get any brand you want that look the same, because you're bound to find these guys right here, which look like the same thing. They are type D filters. These are bad. They do not fit. They are a different size than your S1 filters that go into these hot tubs. So these are available at Walmart. I can reuse them and make them last about 2 weeks, and I will show you how to do that. We've also got the bromine tablets. Again, if you choose to go with chlorine, that's fine. I just personally prefer bromine because the chlorine makes my eyes water. Plus, once you turn the bubbles on in the hot tub, if you had chlorine in there, the bubbles and the air and the heat and the moisture and the steam, they're going to find a way to get into your eyes anyway. I have found, and I only lasted about 3 days with chlorine the very first time I got one of these, and then I switched to bromine real quick. They do the same thing, it's just a lot less irritable. The other chemical I use quite often is the defoamer. This you will have to use if, like, your shorts or your bathing suit had too much soap in them, it didn't get rinsed in the washing machine too much, or other things like oil on your skin or sunscreen, or somebody had makeup or something. pH Plus I've used a couple times. Honestly, I think we can put that over there. I don't think I use that very often. And then the Spa Clarifier. Say your spa is a little cloudy, and see how you can kind of see a little bit of foam there too? That defoamer will take care of that. But if it's a little cloudy in here, I'll use the clarifier. If it's very cloudy in here, hang on. And your pool spa test strips here, which I do every single day I'm here at base camp. It's okay to skip a couple days, but I check it every single day. Not a whole lot on here I care about. There's 7 different things, but we are looking at the bromine levels, the pink right there, and also down here, the pH levels. And oftentimes, the only thing I've had to do is add a little more pH with this guy, but that's very rare, actually, for my experience. And I am going to be honest with you, having a hot tub and carrying it for yourself takes a little bit of effort. You have to work on this every single day. That's right. Once every single day, you have to clean these filters. Are you hearing me right? If you wait 2 days, you may lose those filters. They may get too bad. Let me show you how to look at these filters. All right, you're going to turn off the heater and the pump. Reach into there and unscrew them. Unscrew both of them. All right, let's take a look at these. Sometimes one is worse than the other. That one's not too bad for one day. This one is probably going to look a little worse for some reason. And indeed, it does. As you can see, it is dirty. Pretty easy to clean these, though. Just going to use a standard hose and spray them out. Something like that, we're good to go. And like I say, I can get about 2 weeks out of these filters before having to change them. You might even get longer. All right, and once we get both filters reattached on there, we'll turn the pump back on and the heat. And like I say, every time I'm here at base camp with the hot tub, I put a test strip in there and test those levels. And how you do that is turn the bubbles on initially for about 15 seconds just to kind of get all the water agitated, and then drop one of these strips in. Make sure your fingers are not wet when you reach into this thing. Put one of those strips in there, swirl it around for about 5 seconds, bring it out, shake it off, and check your levels. All right, and then the only 2 things I care about on this strip is the far right side over here where the orange is at. That is the pH level, which looks to be, once again, a little low, and the bromine right there, the middle pink, which is right there where it's supposed to be. So we need to add some pH. One of the things about all of these chemicals is that you need to wait 30 minutes before adding a different chemical. So I'm going to start with my pH. I always start with my pH before doing anything else. And I am just kind of, looking at the colors and trying to fix it. I may have to do it again in 30 minutes, but keep the filter on, but don't turn the bubbles on after you add the pH up. And then after 30 minutes, turn the bubbles back on, check your levels. My pH is in a good spot, so I'm happy with that. The bromine in the floater there, you're just kind of eyeing it. Right before that tablet goes out, I usually add another one on top of it, and then I don't keep that floater in while I'm using the hot tub, but overnight and everything, before I put the cover on, I put the floater back in and just let it do its thing. As long as I keep up with adding a little bit of pH, maybe once a week, a tablespoon or so, and keeping up with the bromine, I really have no problems, unless I have a friend come and use it, and they have some soap or some extra oils or something different that affects it. Usually, like I say, the clarifier or the defoamer will fix that. However, sometimes you're still going to have cloudy water, and what do you do at that point? Well, you gotta shock your hot tub. I know that sounds like a crazy weird thing, but even me, sometimes I get behind. Sometimes I leave the house for 3, 4, 5 days without maintaining my hot tub, and it does get a little cloudy. On that day, I can't use my hot tub because I'm going to use 4-in-1 shock, and this stuff's available at Walmart, believe it or not, in the pool section. Just make sure you get shock that is bromine safe, and make sure that the shock is okay on vinyl hot tubs and pools. There's directions on the back for how much to use, so for that you need to know how many gallons your hot tub holds. In this case it holds 177 gallons, and I need a half a cup of this stuff. It is very powerful stuff. You do not want to have it anywhere near your nose when you're pouring your measurements, because it is painful to get this stuff in your nose at all. So there is very specific directions for this. I'm not going to do it today because I don't need to do it, but essentially you're not going to use your bubbles at all once you add this. Your little half a cup of this stuff, you sprinkle over the top of the hot tub and leave it alone. You can keep your heater and your pump on, that's fine, but this stuff does not do well if it's agitated with bubbles. Also, you need to keep the lid off of your hot tub for 3 or 4 hours. I like 5 or 6 hours. I'm just not going to use the hot tub on the day I use this anyway. I'll use it the day after. But you can't have the lid on, which means you're probably going to lose some temperature also. So that's why I don't use the hot tub on days where I shock my hot tub. But the next day when I come out and I check everything, that water has been clear every single time. I've never had to empty my hot tub because I couldn't get rid of the cloudiness. It's always worked with this as a last resort. Another thing you're going to want to do regularly is have a little spa net here so that you can skim stuff off the top of the hot tub on a regular basis. Believe it or not, every time you get in and out of your hot tub, your feet are going to have they're going to have something on them, and you're going to bring something in there. Alternatively, you could bring a hose around, and every time you exit and re-enter your hot tub, you can just spray your feet off before you get back in. But in my case, that didn't really help a whole lot because I still had to use this net at least a couple times a day. This works great for getting stuff off the surface, but if you are a hot tub owner, you'll notice some stuff stays on the bottom. How do you get that stuff that's on the bottom, Eric? The sand, the pine needles, all that kind of stuff. I waited several months thinking I could find a better way to get sand and debris off the bottom. It just doesn't work. The only way to do it is with one of these Intex rechargeable, waterproof, submergible vacuums. And it really, really works well. It charges by DC. I think these are about 54 bucks on Amazon. Comes with a long telescoping pole so you can use it on the pool or the hot tub. All you do is switch this lever right here over to the 1, and as you'll see, it's still not making any noise. It's not activated until you actually submerge it in water. Now you probably can't even hear it doing its thing, but you see the debris I'm going to go over right now? I'm going to go like that, come back, she gone. Let's see, there's a few more little things over there. I'm going to go over all those. They gone. A few more little pieces over here. Just going to roll right over them, and they're gone. Also, I like to just kind of go around the edge because underneath the bubble rack there, you can also get some more sand and debris. And then you do need to empty the cartridge of that little vacuum cleaner out after every single use. That's super easy. You know, like I said, there's no way to keep debris from getting in the hot tub. It's gonna happen. You're just gonna have to think about that and remove it. So we've been over all the chemicals that I use to maintain my hot tub. It's super easy. However, if all of those don't work, even the shock doesn't work, and you still have nasty water inside, it's not the end of the world. It's only 177 gallon capacity on this particular model here. Just empty it and put new water in and start over. It's no big deal. However, one thing I forgot to mention is that once a week, when I am done using this for that time, like I've already spent 30, 45 minutes in the hot tub and I'm ready to get out, once a week, I grab my little scrubber, okay, and this thing is quite flexible. I sit in the hot tub, I go around, and I clean the entire sides of the hot tub while scooting my butt around the hot tub. Once I'm done with that, I get in the middle of the hot tub, and I scrub from the middle to all the edges and scrub all of the dead skin and other stuff that's on the side of the hot tub to get it off. Then I get out of the hot tub, then I turn the bubbles on the hot tub to stir that all up, and then I get my net again and clean all that out and also go take a shower. I pretty much always take a nice shower after I'm done using the hot tub because you have those chemicals on you, and I think that a cat might like lick my arm. I mean, I think Jax has tried it a couple times in the past, so you don't want to have those chemicals on you if you have pets because they'll lick the chemicals off at night. But that's how I keep my hot tub clean. These hot tubs are not perfect, but with just a little bit of work to them and a little bit of effort, I've enjoyed every second of this. And if you have one of these and notice that I forgot to say something, or you have a better idea or advice or a shortcut or just any other help, please put that in the video description below. I'm sure there'll be a lot more helpful information out there. That's just how I do it. Just trying to think if that's everything before I go hop in my swimming suit. Yeah, my biggest tip, make sure whatever you wear in there is completely rinsed, but you will notice that as you're using it, the temperature is going to continue to drop. For me personally, if I spend 45 minutes in this and use the bubbles, I will go from 104 degrees to like 95 or 96 degrees in just 45 minutes. It drops really, really quick. It's also been cold outside. I usually only use this at night. So that is my Intex 4-person portable inflatable hot tub. And people have been asking me lately why I haven't been putting links anymore in my video descriptions for these products. Well, I myself and many of my other RV friends got booted from Amazon. They just said, we are terminating your affiliate status. Basically, how do I say this the right way? As an influencer that reaches a lot of people, I have the power to drastically affect Amazon's inventory and warehouse. That's basically how it says. I helped sell them too much stuff, is basically what they're saying. In the last couple years before I got booted from the affiliate program, nearly every link I would put in the video description got sold out in a matter of hours. And then my viewers would be like, Eric, your link doesn't work. What's wrong with you? Well, I can't control Amazon's I don't work for Amazon. I can't control their inventory. Their links change often enough. So the best information I can provide for you is shop around. Maybe you can get an open box on Amazon or a used, no, don't get a used one, but eBay sometimes sells them, but Amazon has free shipping. So, I mean, if you're really, really looking to get one, I'll put the model number of what I have here in the video description, the model number, and that way you can find and shop for it yourself. I wish I could get a little cut back, but I'm just sharing it to help. Also, the chemicals, again, will be in the video description for everything I used. So that's about it. That's how I care for my portable hot tub, and I love it. When I'm not using it, when I leave base camp for 6 to 8 months, deflate it or empty the water out, deflate it, dry it all off, throw it in the shed. Easy peasy. I'm gonna go get my swimming trunks. Oh yeah, you wouldn't like it. It's amazing. If it is pretty cold outside, I can turn the bubbles off and enjoy it without the bubbles, but it's definitely not the same.